I'm Susan Leon and I work in education. I've spent most of my career, going on 14 years in the K-12 education. I was a middle school teacher, high school teacher. Now I'm an instructional coach. So I've kind of seen both sides of being in the classroom and out of the classroom at the district level. I'm here to talk to everybody about the amazing field of education and what you possibly are getting yourself into. I didn't start out here. I moved to education after I got a master's degree. What had happened is I had kind of started working in kind of a corporate environment and I just didn't feel intrinsically motivated. And I remember my time in high school. I was a pretty much straight A, straight B student. I was shy and didn't say a peep. And I remember thinking, man, I want to be a high school teacher so I can affect change. I can help students grow and find passions. So that's initially why I went back and got my master's and then became a high school teacher. I think the types of people that do well in this field are compassionate people, people that want to help others, because essentially that's what you're doing. You're really helping students become themselves economically independent and responsible and professional, and guiding them with skills in English, math, science, or career in tech ed. And you're very much a mentor. You get to do fun, creative stuff too. So people that do well in this field are people that can multitask well and to work with the younger generations and influence change with them. I actually went through the Eller College of Business. My parents owned a business. Both sides of my grandparents owned a business. So it was just kind of natural when I went to U of A. I thought I'm a pre-business major. I did marketing through Eller and then worked in sales and marketing for 2 years in Tucson. I went back and got a master's. It was like a master's in teaching certification program, and then also learn some of the education principles at the same time that I didn't know. Although it may seem that that degree wasn't useful, it is completely useful. I use my business degree all the time. The skills I learned in Eller, I don't know if I would have been where I am now if I didn't do that program and like the path I took and everything. So I am completely grateful for getting my bachelor's there and the opportunities I had at Eller. It just kind of catapulted me to teaching. And I actually ended up teaching business classes for a few years as well. In this industry, there are a lot of politics. Fortunate or unfortunate, it just is what it is. So education, you have to really keep a pulse on what's going on at the political level, what's going on your local district board level and the policies they're passing, because it directly affects you. And when the governor, signs bills or makes statements regarding education, or the state superintendent does, it directly affects you, your job. There's been multiple times in my career where things have changed and ebb and flowed. That was something I don't think I really realized when I was getting into it, how much politics affects everything. And education is always changing. There's new research all the time on brain development and active participation strategies to perform in the classroom to advance retention. Keeping up with that stuff is really fun. And it keeps your job innovative and keeps you as a teacher re-engaged, because you're constantly like doing new things and trying new things with your students. The teaching certification you get initially when you start teaching, and they have made advancements, I think, at the state level to make it a little bit easier for entry. However, it is also really good to take some classes. It's good to take classes before you just enter the classroom. I also think the education industry, along with a lot of other industries, is heavily dependent on networking. And as you guys know, if you're in a teacher prep program, you might be doing a student teaching experience. You might have been in some classrooms already. Connect with those people, keep those contacts, reach out to them, make sure they remember you, because when a job comes open, you're going to be the person that they call or reach out to and recommend to their principal. So I would highly just recommend networking. One of the things that I really did that changed my career trajectory is I joined our state organization for my teaching. I'm a career and technical education teacher. So our state organization is called the Association for Career and Technical Education, ACTE. They have a state level chapter, and then we have a national chapter. And just getting involved in that, I started presenting at conferences. I now present like statewide all day on certain topics. I've presented at nationals now. The people people that I've met through this whole thing have been great. When people have jobs open, they call me and see if I'm interested now. So I would highly recommend finding your organization that aligns to what you're teaching, or a teaching organization, and start getting active and building your network, because that's how you really find out like what's going on in the districts and what's going to be open throughout your entire career in education as well. I would say you really need a mentor. You're going to want a mentor when you're in the classroom, wherever you're at. So make sure you've got those good connections as well, and utilize them and keep reaching out to them. As I alluded to before, I was a very shy high schooler, came out of my shell a little bit when I went to U of A. There were things that I did, right, that made that happen. Being put in small groups with 4 or 5 people and trying to figure out how to communicate well and balance everything. I do that all the time here. We work on teams for everything here, and I have in my career with other teachers. Everything in Eller and the projects we worked on has helped me so much on learning how to communicate with a variety of different people and work on a team. The organizations and the clubs I joined as well, I would say, was big. So I was in a sorority, and the community service we did in that organization, I was chair for some of the social events, and I had to plan and coordinate and invite people and run a budget. But I do that all the time now. Even though my time at U of A wasn't directly related to education, I use the skills every single day. I do not regret the path I took. I'm so happy I went to Eller. I'm very proud graduate. I'm also a super proud education professional. It's just been great. I guess I would just say, like, take advantage of all the opportunities you have at U of A and really find the ones that pique your interest and passions and dive into them.